Hello there, welcome to #Toe2Toe, the final one of 2015. Your boxing questions, answers discussed. I've got my Christmas shirt on by the man alongside me who is the most dapper Santa Claus we have ever seen. It is the one and only Spencer Fearon, fresh from the O2. Spence, you well? You recovered? You enjoyed it?
Listen, before we even start the show, Ed, did you go out cutting down Christmas trees today? I was like, what's with the lumberjack shirt today, brother?
Since you become a dad, you have to have a bit of sideline. You get extra cash, you know, you have a bit of extra work.
I know. But you're everywhere at Sky, even when you're standing still. You know what I mean? You're cleaning the windows here, you're doing Sky News, Sky Sports. Come on, man.
Do my best. There's a big tree outside. I had nothing to do with it. Now, Mojo, that kicks us off after a big weekend of boxing. It's got everyone talking, hasn't it? All over the front pages, back pages. And Mojo asks, if Hay comes back, the fighter, David Hay, he was 3 years ago, do you think he beat Joshua? His last performance 3.5 years ago against Chisora. It's an interesting question, isn't it? Do you think he'd beat Joshua?
The guy that fought Derek Chisora,
yeah,
we have to allude to the fact that Derek Chisora was actually world class. Derek Chisora just fought Vitaly Klitschko
taking the
for
distance,
the world,
yeah,
and went the distance, and his stock rose greatly. David Hay is just David Hay, and he got paid fantastically well for the fight, and I saw signs in David Hay of a regression in his fighting, not in his physical being, his physical presence, but that David Hay, I'm not too sure. The David Hay that fought John Ruiz, I would definitely say that would beat Joshua, who we got on the weekend, because Joshua still needs to get experience.
Joshua's susceptibility to power that we saw for the first time, or perhaps you talk about his fluidity as a boxer.
Right, I'm saying Dylan White hurt him. I'm saying this now out of love, because a lot of people say, Spencer, you're being very critical on Anthony Joshua. I'm not being Anthony. If I didn't like Anthony Joshua, I don't want to see Anthony Joshua go to the top. I'll be just like everybody else, gassing him up. Yeah, Anthony, you're great. No, look at the intangible flaws that you put inside of that fight, and know that you have to come a lot better than that. David Hay hits a lot harder than Dylan White, and is a lot sharper a puncher, and at this present moment, David Hay has a fantastic boxing brain. So depending on
how his shoulder is as well.
Exactly, how his shoulder is. But you know what, full credit to Anthony Joshua, he came back. But I would have Anthony Joshua study a lot of Sonny Liston fights, how to throw the jab with the shoulder. He snatches the jab, and that is a problem that he's found out with. Yeah, he needs to start throwing. He needs to start throwing jabs. He needs to be way more loose. Imagine this. When Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno fought each other, Lennox Lewis has a superb jab. Frank Bruno was out jabbing Lennox Lewis, right? And we say that there's a lot of similarities. People say a lot of similarities because of the muscular build of Anthony Joshua, that Anthony Joshua is like Frank Bruno-esque. But listen to this one. Frank Bruno had rhythm with his jab in the fight versus Lennox Lewis, and that's what Anthony Joshua should be looking at, power with the jab. Yeah,
still undefeated, of course, Anthony Joshua. Daniel asks, on the subject of being caught, Joshua, for the first time as a professional anyway, do we worry too much about heavyweights being able to hold a shot? That question from Daniel. So do we worry too much about it? It's a pretty significant factor, isn't it, being able to take a shot as a heavyweight?
Well, we have to look on fighters if they get wobbled. It's not like we worry about heavyweights taking a shot. Of course we have to worry about heavyweights taking a shot.
How you recover from
Yeah, exactly. You have to look at certain people. Larry Holmes had really good repute, the former heavyweight champion who reigned from 1979 to 1985. Sorry, Larry Holmes had really, really good reputative powers, because Larry Holmes would take a shot, and as Larry Holmes would take a shot, he could go down, but he would get back up. Right? Somebody like a Frank Bruno didn't really have recuperation powers, because Frank Bruno could hold a shot, but he didn't know what to do when he took the shot.
Yeah.
Right? He'd panic, hence why when he got knocked out by Bono Crusher Smith, when he got stopped by Tim Witherspoon, when he challenged for the first time, he challenged for a world title against Tim Witherspoon. But with Anthony Joshua, he got hit with a shot, and we didn't want to see him take that shot. He got hit with a shot, and it was a sneaky left hook. But Dylan White was trying to catch him with a left hook a couple times. But also within that fight, Anthony Joshua got hit with body shots, and to the untrained eye, we wouldn't realise that he got hurt. Paulie Malignaggi caught up on it, that he got hurt from it. That's why I rate Paulie Malignaggi. I caught up where he got hit with body shots, that hurt him. Yeah. So it's not about just taking a shot because you're with a big man. We do worry about it because we're saying, well, every big person can punch. And if you get hit on the chin, you could get knocked out.
And credit to Dylan White as well, because on the subject, Junaid asks, Junaid Iqbal, what do you think of White versus Chisora now? Both, of course, on the card of the weekend.
Listen to me. Forget about the fight within itself, them two having a fight.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the build-up between those two? Could you imagine, right, even
two
though,
characters.
they are two characters, even though...
Do they like each other? They know each other, don't they? Sparred. Do they like each other?
They used to spar. I don't know how they are now, but considering
not a rift like the rift between White and Joshua.
Last week when we had Derek Chisora on he was doing Sky News, and he was doing the tactics with Johnny Nelson, and he said that this fight wasn't going to go one round. And I was telling everybody, I was telling everybody that this will be a proper war, because I know that Dylan White is a very ignorant character. He's so ignorant that the odds you can just rip those papers up because he's so ignorant. He doesn't care. If those two were to fight, the build-up would be incredible. That would be an incredible fight because their styles would gel. And I think that is a fight that could maybe happen. I think that fight could be on an undercard to justify Joshua's next fight. Potentially in April, Joshua's meant to be fighting, and he could be
April
be fighting.
9th has been mooted, yeah.
Yes, he could be fighting Hellenius for the European title. That's the talk. If that fight does happen, that Derek Chisora versus Dylan White on the undercard would be an excellent fight, and it would be justified of being pay-per-view.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Well, the heavyweight division, as Zanti Joshua rightly says, is certainly centred around these aisles at the moment. Let's talk middleweight, though. Jez Batchelor, I believe he's talking... Well, you all know what he's talking about. If you were making a ring walk on a big fight, would you be happy with your dad dancing behind you? That's from Jez Batchelor. What do you think about that? A reference to Chris Eubank Jr., I believe, and the old man, whose dancing looked quite pained, I thought, at the weigh-in. He was doing that kind of slow... rhythmic thing.
Listen, you know what? I got to say this now. I actually spoke to Chris Eubank Sr. yesterday.
English.
Yes, but I still call him Mr. Eubank, and he's cool with that, right?
Yeah.
And he's really cool now, seriously. Sometimes he's really, really cool. He's just so mellow. So
a positive for his son to have there, or negative? What do you think?
I think it's a positive now because Adam Booth is saying, look, I'm sailing the ship, right? I think before... like the relationship that Chris Eubank Sr. had with Ronnie Davis, who he trusts emphatically, but Chris Eubank was so eccentric, especially in the early days. Like Chris Eubank was saying, "I'm the boss." I remember one time that Eubank was sat in the corner. He said, "No, he said, Ronnie, slap me, man, slap me."
Yeah.
To GM,
but he does posture and he courts attention from the crowd. Is that not a distraction for the son?
No. It's not distraction because I think the son's been born around this. He knows that's my dad, right? Yeah. That's how my dad is. So he knows that. But we have to be realistic. It's a double act kind of thing, but the son got the lead role. Right? So like Chris Eubank Sr. is actually the backing singer at the present moment, the backing singer with a better voice.
Plenty of jeopardy for all the fights, wasn't it? That's what made it such an enthralling night. Even Tony Bellew beat Masternak, but two big defeats.
Fight. Big up Tony Bellew and Dave Coolwell for that. That was a really, really good win.
But two big defeats for home fighters for the Matchroom boys. Luke Campbell and Kevin Mitchell. And Gaz Rich says, who should Campbell and Mitchell fight next after both taking a loss? And interesting, our producer, another Ed, he thinks that maybe fight each other, Campbell and Mitchell.
You know what? Ed just beat me to it. That's what I'm saying. Let them fight each other.
Yeah.
Why not? You have to. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm fortunate with boxing is this, right? I've seen Mendy a couple of times. I remember when I promoted the show and Troy was boxing and Mendy came over with this guy.
It's Ivan Mendy who beat Luke Campbell,
Ivan Mendy. And Ivan Mendy came over as the interpreter for some other fighter who's just in the gym. This is about 3 years ago now.
So Jose Mourinho started.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you now that I saw him in the gym. I was seeing shadow boxing in the gym. I said he's pretty sound. Yeah. And you know And unfortunately...
He had big deltoids, didn't he, on those shoulders?
He did, but I'm saying this. There is no shame in losing, especially in the way that he did. You got knocked down in the 5th round, and you got straight back up. You weren't dazed by it. I think maybe this is what I'm saying. I'm not going to buy into the hype. You have to learn the game. This is like I think a lot of people are taken aback because his fight that Luke Campbell had with Tommy Cole, really and truly, he should have brushed Tommy Cole to the wayside early, and that fight went late. So I remember I was speaking to Gary Logan about it, and I said, maybe I've got a little bit of reservations. Yeah. Only because I think certain times when we're rushing these guys so far ahead that we lose context of they're still babies. He's still a baby. You can come back from this. I still think he can win a world title as well. I think that Kevin Mitchell... That Barroza guy is a serious puncher, man. Yeah, seriously.
Well, was that bad matchmaking, or was it just a necessary hurdle? Like Kevin Mitchell had challenged 3 times for a world title before, so he knows that you have to do it tough.
It was necessary for him to have that massive fight with Anthony Crolla because that was for the WBA #1 spot. Yeah. So without that to make him a mandatory challenger for that fight to justify him getting a world title shot at the WBA title. But it was a hard fight.
Do you think Mitchell should fight again? 4 defeats in world title fights, 4 stoppages.
If he's got it in him to fight, then yes. But I think like he's done financially well at boxing. He's still a very, very good fighter.
Yeah.
And if he's got it inside of him, then yeah. But if you don't want it, then don't do it. Because this is what I realised this. It's not about the 2 years that you've taken the game seriously.
Yeah.
It's about the 8 years that you
we're
haven't.
talking outside about punch resistance.
It's the 8 years that you haven't taken seriously, and then it all catches up with you. It all catches up to you. But I still think that Kevin could still come and fight. Maybe he could fight Scotty Cardle for the lightweight British title. That would be a good fight. If not that, then seriously, Luke Campbell versus Kevin Mitchell, a crossroads fight, young lion versus old lion. I'd pay to watch that fight.
Yeah, you'd always wonder if Mitchell had been as focused as he is now when he fought Katsidis and Burns earlier in his career, what would have happened?
He would have been a world champion.
Yeah. Well, Omar, at the chubby loser, which is not too self-congratulatory in his Twitter handle, but he says, what is your 2016 wish list? What fights should be made domestically and world level? That could go on forever, I suppose, but give us one fight from each, domestic, world level, that you really want to see.
Amir Khan versus Kell Brook.
Which is across both, domestic and world.
Yes. I would like to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
I would also like to see David Haye versus Anthony Joshua. I'd like to see...
By year end or autumn?
Yeah. I'd like to see George Groves.
Yeah.
Versus James DeGale, just because of their bad blood that they have between them.
Yeah.
I would like to see Golovkin. Oh yeah, I'd definitely like to see Golovkin versus Canelo.
Yeah. Well, Andy Lee's talking that fight up as well if he beats Joe Saunders.
Yep. I'd like to see that fight. There's so many. There's a young kid on the horizon, Errol Spence. I'd like to see Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman.
Errol Spence.
Yeah, he's a very good fighter. I'd like to see him versus I'd like to see him and Keith Thurman. I could go right throughout the whole list. I'd like to see
Spence.
Nicholas Waters. No, seriously, Nicholas Waters, my Jamaican brother. I'd like to see Nicholas Waters in with Lomachenko. There are so many. There are so many fights, but the major fight that I want to see for the new year would actually be Kell Brook versus Amir Khan. It's long overdue now.
Sure. Exciting time for boxing. More people in participation as well at the lower ranks of boxing than since the 1970s. Now let's get a couple of shout-outs on the Christmas edition as well. It's a special message from Clayton as well. Really appreciate this, Clayton. So they've had so many medical issues the last few years. But Sky Sports Boxing, Spencer Fearon, hashtag Toe2Toe, makes me feel better. So he says, cheers. So Clayton, we wish you the best of luck over Christmas. Have a happy Christmas. And thank you for getting in touch. Hope you feel better.
Seriously, like... Thank you so much, because like we're getting really good support and it's really good momentum and the numbers are really, really good. And I'm seriously amazingly grateful and I'm glad that I add value to you. Because you're adding value back to me.
We've got a special message as well, Spencer, for Carly.
Yes,
hopefully a happy early Christmas present.
Carly, Lee says for you to look underneath the Christmas tree right now. So if you go underneath the Christmas tree right now, I think there's something waiting for you.
Yeah, early Christmas present. Well, I hope it works out well. I hope it's what you wanted. Spencer, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Seriously, man, I've had a fantastic year with you this year. You guys keep it hashtag Toe2Toe. Keep on sending your questions. I love answering them. I love the sporadic ones as well and stuff like that. I love talking history. But seriously, I just love being with my lumberjack friend here. Without you, I couldn't look so good.
We've got a 3-week break now, so I'll get back to the trees, but we will be back January the 6th for that. Thank you again for your questions. Keep them coming in. We'll put out a call to arms on Sky Sports Boxing just before the next show for your questions. Bye for now.
Enjoy Sky Sports Live. On all screens, on the go,